All right, well, I'm ready.
What's happening, YouTube? Back in the building. It's Fun Friday. I hope everyone has had a good week. Getting ready to hit the weekend, this Memorial Day weekend. If you guys got some vets and some people in your family that have died serving this country or loved ones associated with them, make sure you shout them out. Let them know that you care about them, especially the ones who are fighting for the rights of everyone, not just a specific few. Let them know you love them. Joining me tonight for the review of Godfather of Harlem, episode 6, which, by the way, was the mid-season finale. I got everyone's favorite, the much ado Moochella. How you feeling tonight, Moochella?
Hey,
Boy, when they
what's
become
up? What's
you, when they get YouTube famous, boy, they start changing things up. Don't be
up?
surprised if that chick get an Instagram page and y'all start seeing her taking stuff off. Keep an eye
I
on
got
that.
Instagram, but I don't really be posting like that. I need to get on my grind with that.
Yeah, she'll be on it, ladies and gentlemen, because she's building a fan base. And then last but not least, y'all know who this man is. He don't need no introduction. That's the living legend. And I do mean living legend. Larry, how you feeling, my brother?
Hanging in there, man. How are you doing?
I'm trying to hang, my brother. Just trying to put all the craziness to the side and just keep my head down and keep investing, keep building one brick at a time, trying to hang tough.
Right. I feel you. Same here.
Okay. Well, folks, we're all gathered here for the best show on TV right now called The Godfather of Harlem. And I mean, man, this mid-season finale was a doozy. I've watched it 3 times. It was that damn good. We've seen people that we hated have turned into the baby faces of the show. I'm speaking of Ernie and what he did. You've got to be liking him now. The person that me and Larry and Mooch said is the most dangerous person on the show continues to show you guys why I said she, is not a he. I said she is the most dangerous person on the show. And what can we say about Reverend Clayton Powell? It starts out with him. It kind of goes to the end with him. And then Vincent Chin and the relationship with Bumpy. Man, this was a good episode. Ladies and gentlemen, let us start out with a video clip that kind of gives you the essence of what happened on this particular episode. And then we'll start breaking it down piece by piece because there was some gems in here, including Malcolm X. Here we go.
Nothing scares white people more than black people voting.
Look at you. You remember what I said about the black gangster gaining political consciousness and that white America would fall to his knees?
Indeed, I do.
Maybe you're getting political.
I get it, Adam. I don't like the fucking Klan any more than you do.
Oh, yeah?
I read an article in Life magazine. Nazis, the Klan, all the same. Just need someone to pick on to feel good about themselves.
Show them no mercy then.
What's mercy?
Ladies and gentlemen, right now we've got 18 in the building. Can I get 18 likes, 18 shares? Tressa C, yes, we was talking about the baby's 1-year party. We talked about that actually today. Larry and Moochella, I want to break this down character by character, and I'll let each one of you pick the character who excited you the most, and we'll let you guys take the lead on that character. So, Moochella, which character do you want to talk about first, and then we'll break down their events in this past mid-season finale?
Wow. I like to talk about Ernie.
What? I should have known you was going to jump right on into Ernie. Okay, well, open up. Lead us how you want us to go with Ernie. Begin your discussion on Ernie this episode right now.
Even though everything happened between Chin and Bumpy, Ernie is down for the cause. and I like the way he's turning everything over. And I know I like him now. He was a real idiot in the beginning, but now I like this character, and I I liked all of his movement during this.
Okay, I can get with that. Big Larry, follow in on Ernie, and then we'll let you pick a character.
Yeah, Ernie's character, I really like what he did this episode. It was, it's funny because they wrote him in a little bit as not just sort of the dumb meathead following directions. They wrote him in as a little bit more complicated than we've seen him in the past, and I like that about him. This whole thing about not liking the Klan and they're just a bunch of Nazis. It's like, it's interesting. It brings up this whole thing that that it's like you can hate certain people because it's not like the Italians didn't, have any love loss for black folks, but it's sort of like when you find a common enemy, you guys can find a reason to stick together, and he sort of is finding that in the Klan and the Nazis, and sometimes I think we need a common enemy today, but so anyways, I just like the way they wrote his character this episode. He wasn't so simple-minded as he's normally presented.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, everything they said is absolutely right. Ernie was a character we picked on for being pussy whipped. Ernie is a character we picked on and really hated because he seemed himself pretty racist. And we seen the writers this season turn him around. I mean, everyone on this panel foreshadowed this. We all foreshadowed it when he first helped Stella take care of Vince's boy. And now this episode, it came full circle. There was 3 individuals missing, 2 white dudes and a black kid, freedom riders. And when we pick this next character, we'll give you more details. But what ingratiated Ernie to the fandom was the KKK members that knew where these freedom riders was located. Ernie didn't just beat these dudes. He shot them. He burned them. He didn't put them on a stake, but he put them on a tree until they told him. He burnt one of them to death. And the other one, he threatened so hard that he revealed where everything was at. And he was referred to by the FBI as Mr. X in this series, bringing justice to the 3 freedom riders that got missing. And so, Ernie, for that, you are not the donkey of the day. You win the MVP for this episode. Big Larry, pick a character that you want to discuss from this last episode.
Let's go with Bumpy.
Golly, y'all go for the good. Y'all ain't the type of people that eat your vegetables first, huh? Y'all get dessert.
Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Eat the meat. Eat the dessert, eat the meat, then eat the vegetables last, if you even eat the vegetables. Big Larry, you get to lead in on Bumpy. Start with Bumpy wherever you want, and we'll fill in the gaps.
Yeah, man, I just thought Bumpy was the thing that really got me about Bumpy this episode was, they were pushing him real hard, trying to get him to snitch.
Mm-hmm.
And
snitch on Chin. Chin. They were trying
to get him real hard to snitch on Chin. And he was just real slick about how he was able to make himself valuable to the government and to the FBI and get himself out of trouble without actually having to snitch. Mm-hmm. And and I love the way that I love the way that these people were all able to work together and recognize each other's strengths and each other's weaknesses. It was like when President Johnson came to Adam Clayton Powell, and he was like, look, man, there's only so much I can do above board. And I'm telling you right now, do what you have to do, and I'll give you all the cover that you're going to need as a consequence. And Adam Clayton Powell knew it. Look, I'm going to go to Bumpy. I can't do some of these things because I don't have the resources that Bumpy does, but Bumpy does. Bumpy has them. So he went to him, set the whole thing up with Ernie, and I just thought that whole thing was brilliant. It was really and people need to remember too with the Italians, it's not like the Italians have any real, like I said, any real love lost for black folks, but it wasn't but a generation before this. Even right now in this time frame, it wasn't like the WASP of the world were running around loving Italians. They hated Italians. They called them dogs and thought they were all criminals and gangsters and lowlifes. And if you were some white Anglo Christian, some white Anglo Protestant, whatever it is that WASP stands for, they weren't gonna let your daughter marry some Italian dude. They looked at Italians as one step above niggas. And so I can see why they would want to help. I can see why they'd be pissed off. They'll be like, yeah, if I get a little bit of payback on these people, I'm glad to do it. So anyways, I like the way Bumpy was able to play a role in that, because oftentimes they show him as just a gangster, even though he's a very smart gangster and he helps out. They still show him as just a gangster, and now we're starting to see him be a little bit more multidimensional, and I appreciate that.
Moochella, break down Bumpy's role in this episode 6, and how did you feel, and where you see us going?
I love the way he talked himself out of snitching, because he wasn't going to do that anyway. When he came to him before, he was like, "I'm not doing it." So I thought he was going to let him operate by himself, Morgenthau, but he didn't. So he did some, I guess how I can say, he knew how to talk his way out of his troubles. And that's what I liked about that. And also, I like the fact that he utilized Ernie. I like the way he utilized Ernie. And also with the since we're gonna get to the French Connection guy.
You could talk about that right now.
That was a brilliant move. But you know what? Now that they found out that he was involved with being an informant, do you think Chin really put that out there for him to do the dirty work, or he knew he was gonna do it because he was in the asylum?
Nah, by all means, I think Chin was just trying to save his own damn skin. Chin needed to know who was the rat, period. He just needed to know it. And what I liked about Bumpy in this episode, I liked everything they did with him in this episode. From the very beginning, when he had that conversation with Malcolm about black gangsters getting political consciousness, and Bumpy's like, yeah, you told me. You know, Bumpy has come to an awakening that me and Larry has spoke about that is different now from the way drug dealers used to be back in the day. And I'm not saying being a drug dealer is ever the right thing to do. But drug dealers of old, they also fought in the civil rights movement. They would also contribute some of those funds to the civil rights movement to help brothers get equality. Yes. And as they go down the story, you can see Bumpy having these conversations with Malcolm saying, you know what? We need street justice. And every time he says street justice, what the hell does he dish out? Like he told him. Yep.
He got to get his Rottweiler.
Like he said, when it's black people, it's a dish served cold, revenge. And boy, he done that with Ernie. He sent Ernie down there to retrieve the information on where those boys had been thrown at, got it done. And in the meantime, even though Chin was in the insane asylum, in the loony bin, as they said back in those days, he solidified his relationship, his business relationship with Chin by getting his lawyer, ladies and gentlemen, getting in cahoots with the lawyer so no one can basically talk about each other. He paid for the lawyer, and the lawyer said, I'm expensive and all that. Gobbledygook, and this is his lawyer right here. Bumpy got him so that he could communicate back and forth with Chin without being seen with him.
Exactly.
And he gets this lawyer, and the lawyer is able to get the information from Chin on exactly who the hell is the snitches. And for those of you following the story, his French connection was the snitch who tried to lie and say that the black dude was really the snitch.
And blame it on Mansour.
Right. And Bumpy tested him out. And the guy was going to shoot Mansour because he really thought he was smart. See, that's what happens. Sometimes those good old Anglo-Saxons that think they're above reproach think they're going to outsmart somebody all the damn time. Not Bumpy. Bumpy is playing chess. And so Bumpy winds up shooting him. He takes out the snitch who was going to get immunity from France and America. And he saves the black dude who was his first-hand man. But the question I have to you two is he going to be able to use this black dude as the connect? Whoever was giving that guy the drugs, will they give it to the same black dude? Or is Bumpy going to have to get his stash from somewhere else? I'm asking you, Larry.
I'm going to assume he's going to have to get it from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I say that is because we know at some point that Frank Lucas becomes the next big dude in Harlem and who is Bumpy's driver.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank Lucas ended up getting his connect directly from Vietnam. So I'm assuming that at some point that heroin connection was cut off.
Right.
And they didn't have access. So that's just an assumption. I don't know what they're gonna do in the story, but that's what I'm just thinking, that at some point that heroin connection was cut off. And if they were getting it, they weren't getting it direct like that. Plus, on top of that, because they know that the dude at the top was the rat. It's kind of like you have to sort of go back through the organization and start wondering who might have been dirty, because usually you only get to the top dude when you pop somebody smaller and he gave somebody up bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what they usually do, is they get some peon and they start building, they start working their way up till they get to somebody at the top. And so I can't imagine they got to that dude right away, which means there might be other people in that organization that are just dirty. So you probably can't trust them to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you could probably trust Mansoor, but I don't know if Mansoor is going to trust anybody else back, with that French connection.
Right. Moochie, what do you think? Is Mansoor going to be able to keep the plug going, or is he officially just working for Bumpy?
He's going to keep the plug going, I think, because they said he had warrants in 2 different countries. So when he goes back, they're going to know what's going on. All they got to do is just check the facts and see if that's that. And that was one of my questions too. Will Mansoor work with Bumpy?
What choice do we have?
He doesn't have a choice now. If he want to get money still, yeah, he gonna work with him.
Now, see, I'm about wondering. I don't know the history of France, and I don't know how they either respect or have disrespect for black people. But if he was the number one guy for the plug, it would seem logical to me that if they're not racist, they would let him slide into that position, because they can do their homework and realize that guy was about to be a rat.
Yeah.
And Mansoor can say, you know what? He was a problem for the organization. He was going to rat on y'all. Go check from your people you got working on the inside, and I took care of it. And now he's the plug. He keeps all the connections going for everybody. They could spin it like that. But to Larry's point, when Bumpy died, people was having to get their drugs from other places, and it wasn't called France. So it really just depends on where the writers is going to go with this. But I'm interested to see where they go. This is turning out to be a great, great storyline. And time they are going to have to contend with the rest of the Italian mob in New York is coming. So, yeah. Moochie, who are you going to pick now? Please pick who I'm thinking. I can't wait to talk about this guy. Oh man!
We gonna talk about Chin? That's what you want to talk about?
Nope. But if that's who you want, go for it.
I mean, we could talk about him on Malcolm X. Is whatever when y'all want to do.
We'll go ahead and give you Vincent Chin, whatever the hell his last name is. God.
Yeah, check out that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't watched the show, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Best show on TV right now. Vincent Chakotay. That we first see him at home in his robe, and his wife is talking about his robe smell like piss. And the reason why his wife is picking on him in his robe is because he's playing the role that he's crazy so that the feds won't take him to jail. And so he's basically having a discussion with his wife about, I'm not taking this stuff off. I need to play my role. I'm about to get arrested. Showed up.
He was already looking for little angles to he was practicing his crazy. That's what I'll say. That's how I wrote it down.
That's right. Well, Moochie, this is your character. Open up with what you feel about Vincent Chin. Then we'll follow in after that.
I was laughing at a lot of the stuff he was doing, and his guy that was like, "No, don't do the tic-tac-toe thing." Don't do he was like, "Don't do the tic-tac-toe thing." And his wife was hilarious with the way she was talking to him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She was like, "I can't take this robe. It smells like piss."
Yeah.
And then the way the lawyer pulls up.
Oh yeah.
I like the way that went down.
Mm-hmm.
But the funniest part was when he took the LSD.
Oh my goodness.
That was the funniest. because he really thought he was going to do this crazy and get away with it. He said, well, all I got to do is bang my head against the wall like this guy, like the guy in there that kept hitting his head. And then he was he wants to get out of there, but he knows he'd rather be there than in jail.
Right, right.
And,
Okay.
and he played it off until he had the evaluation with the real doctor. He told himself.
Oh my goodness. Larry, your thoughts on Vincent Chin's role in episode 6?
Yeah, I mean, this was funny because I can't remember the name of the film, but there was a documentary they did about the Italian mob, and they talked about him playing crazy and acting like he was crazy, and they used to call him the Odd Father, you know, because he played like he was a lunatic. But so I kind of like that they pulled that directly from from real life. But I was kind of glad that Chin and Bumpy were able to not just straight go to war with each other over all this. So and I think part of it obviously is because Chin is under attack from the Fed, so he's a little bit back on his heels right now. Mm-hmm. So he can't really afford to go to war when he's sitting up in a insane asylum. So, but yeah, I mean, it was cool. I'm still the relationship I'm still waiting to really see develop through with Chin is the one with Stella, because we know there has to be a reckoning that's going to come when he realizes that it was Stella and Ernie that killed his consigliere. So I want to see how that's going to play out. We know he loves his daughter to death, so we know he's not going to do anything to her, and
not to her.
And he probably will want to go at Ernie, but once he realizes, if he does realize that his consigliere wanted Ernie to kill Stella, well, then that's, he's going to realize, I'm not going to kill this dude. He protected my daughter. Why would I kill him? So we'll see. I'm still waiting for that relationship to develop, but it was funny seeing Chin in there like that, because it seems so him. Instead of just going to jail and working it out, it seems so him.
Yeah, it was funny. To follow in on what Moochie said, so they're evaluating him because the new Fed decides that he needs to have a doctor reevaluate him that's on their team. So they send this mean-looking lady in there to reevaluate him. And what I guess we learned this episode was the doctor that's running the loony bin is in the pocket of Chin. And I don't know why Chin wanted that doctor to give him LSD to make him crazy. And the story wrote it as though LSD was a form of truth serum. Mm-hmm. So when the lady asked him, lady was like, did you take these pills to be crazy? He started looking at her like, yeah, like he had constipation. Yeah.
Like he was trying to hold it in, right?
Yeah, like he was trying to hold it in. But what I couldn't figure out was, I'm thinking, lady, if this is real truth serum, why don't you ask him the other questions the FBI been asking that he's been lying about? Don't just ask him about that. Ask him, has he killed anybody? Ask him, is he a crime lord person? Ask him, is he running a drug organization? Ask him who his associates are. What's that?
It would have been great if she did ask him all of that, and he'd said everything and admitted to everything. It would have actually been very beneficial to Chin, because it all would have then become inadmissible in court.
Yep. Because so he's under influence.
They wouldn't have been able to use any of it. And so they would have it would have all gotten tossed. There would have been no way they could have convicted him on any of that. They would have had to start all of their they would have had to start building new charges against him, because all of those charges would have been worthless.
Yep. And then they would have said that he was coerced, he was drugged, he didn't have counsel, you done this under pressure. They would have done all that. They would hit him with everything.
Right. And he probably would have successfully sued the federal government for having drugged him, and would have been considered torture, and they would have let him go. And anytime they probably wanted to bring charges against him, they probably would have been told immediately, no, back off, leave him alone. There's already there's already a history of harassment against this guy. So even if they were able to bring charges later, there already would have been this established pattern of harassment and torture and drugging that I doubt that any jury would have ever convicted him.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention, now the feds have to go back to the drawing board because the ace in the hole that they thought they had is dead.
Yeah.
He's dead. Yep.
And they should have known better. I mean, they should have they really should have said, they should have had Interpol pull the warrant before they moved on him, because as soon as you say, oh, this person has both an agreement with, or not a warrant, but an agreement, I guess you should have, because as soon as they realized they have both a cooperation agreement with the federal government and with Interpol, then you already know who it is. It's only one of two people. It's either going to be Mansour or it's going to be the other dude, because those are the only two people that would have been under the jurisdiction of Interpol. So exactly. I mean, you needed to get rid of either one cooperation agreement or the other so that it wouldn't have been discovered who it was. I mean, because they were really lucky that Bumpy just decided to go ahead and give Mansour a shot, because he really could have just been like, okay, well, we know which one it is. I don't even feel like guessing. I'm just going to kill them both.
Right.
But Morgenthau is so eager to get the mob that he's not even covering his tracks with how he had got his informant.
Yeah.
So now he should have covered his tracks with that.
Now, well, I think it's your turn, Moochie. So who are you going to pick? Because I think Larry picked Chin.
No, I picked the last one. I picked Chin.
Okay, well, Larry's your turn. Who you want? You still got Clayton Powell. You still got Stella. You still got Malcolm X.
I'm going with Malcolm, because this is the episode that he gave us the Ballot or the Bullet speech, and that speech is just absolutely incredible. It's just straight timeless. Fire. It doesn't matter how many times you listen to it. It doesn't matter how old it gets. It's still for this country and the way we are here, it's still timeless. And that's unfortunate. It's a shame that it's timeless, but it is an incredible speech and one that everybody should listen to.
Go ahead, brother. You got Malcolm. Start wherever you want to.
I mean, that's it. Malcolm is it. I mean, okay, I will say this. They very much seem like they're preparing to kill him.
I know, man. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It very much feels like they're wrapping him up and they're preparing to kill him.
We're in 1963, so probably when we're going back, it's going to be towards 64 when he, because he dies the beginning of the year.
So
everybody.
So yeah, I fully expect that probably on because there's 10 episodes in this season.
Yeah, I think it's 10. Yeah.
So I fully expect probably episode 9 is going to end with the assassination of him. I don't think they'll do it and end the season that way, because I think with something that big, they're going to want to wrap up that story. So they'll probably kill him on the end of episode 9. And then episode 10 will probably lead into, the funeral and some of the grieving that people are feeling and some of the political fallout maybe with the nation and Bumpy's daughter, how she feels about that. So I think there's going to be some I think it'll happen this season. I think it's just going to happen probably towards the end of the season.
Okay. All right, Mooch. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, hit the thumbs up for me. You can super chat too. Now, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Now, I ain't going to lie to y'all. When I go to these other black YouTubers channels who don't put out the level of quality content and they up there getting $500 a night in super chat, I think about this channel and y'all smarter than them. Super chats accepted. Jump in there, Moochie. Talk about Malcolm X.
Now, when he said the speech to Elise, and she told him, this speech might get you killed, and she loved the speech, but she said, but what you're saying, you're not only gonna have the nation after you, you're gonna have the government after you now. And she told him she was really fearful for him to say this speech, and I'm glad they covered that. I'm also glad they, like Larry just said, they are getting close to where they might be getting ready to have his assassination done on this series, and because they're throwing bricks through his windows. This is like they're coming at him constantly now, the nation. And these guys is outside and they don't see none of this. That's watching his house. What's going on with that?
Because Mooch, it wasn't only the nation trying to intimidate him. The FBI was trying to intimidate him too. Historically, I don't know if that's how they're writing it in this story, but Hoover was a racist. You know, every time I go past a building that's named after his racist ass, I roll my eyes. You know, he was a racist. He did not, and part of why he was so racist, he was in the closet, ladies and gentlemen. He couldn't come out. And so he repressed some of that anger through hating blacks. He hated Jews. And from what I understand, he was someone in his family close to him was a Jew, but he still hated them. And part of his bitter hatred toward black people was quote unquote loudmouth communist black people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they were the furthest thing from communists. And
no, I agree with you.
And go ahead, Moochie.
No, I'm sorry.
No, you good, because I cut you off.
I feel like his speech that he says resonates so much with everything that's going on with today. Larry touched on so many points with where he said that it's so true. Like everything that he's talking about, it seems like we are living back in the 60s. It's sad that I wish more people was watching this so they could actually hear that speech.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Mooch, the speech is readily available places folks can get it for free.
Oh yeah, I know.
If they want to enlighten themselves, and they should. Shout out to my boy Buzz 703. Always can count on you for a super chat, my friend. I'm really, really appreciative. And Buzz is up to date on his history. Yeah, that's a fact. It's a fact.
Shout out to Buzz.
Shout out to Buzz for always dropping these dimes on y'all. Buzz don't do nothing but come with fire and truth, and we appreciate that. And there were so many show-stealing moments in this finale, but that speech and the way that the actor was able to embody Malcolm in that speech, you know, and as Larry said, a lot of the things he was saying in that speech, as sad as it is, we damn near 60 years from when this was written, are still applicable to today. And it's a damn shame. It's still applicable to today. And as he said, what is it going to be, black people?
The ballot?
The ballot or the bullet?
Yeah.
Take your pick. And it also highlights, I want you guys to think about this, his maturation. Because in the very beginning, he was the type of brother that was like, the white girl runs up to him and says, how can I help? He shoos her away. Basically, it ain't shit you can do for the black people. But by this point, he writing speeches, he realizes we got to unite with the white people that see the injustice happening. He's trying to unite them. He even says in the speech, this is not to condemn the ones helping us. He said it in the speech. And that shows a lot of growth and maturity of someone who's coming full circle to be a force to be reckoned with. And when they saw that force to be reckoned with gaining momentum, what they do, they assassinated them. And it's a damn shame. And I hope somehow they can stretch his character out until next year, because he's been playing a hell of a role in this show, and I've really, really enjoyed him. So another big super chat real quick, Larry. Maximum 347. I appreciate you too, because you be coming through solidly on the regular. We're grateful to have you, and thank you so much. But go ahead, Larry.
I was gonna say I'm okay with them. I'm okay with them, killing off Malcolm X right now. Not that I want to see him go, but this actor and the writers have done such a fantastic job with his role. I don't want to see them take that downhill by trying to stretch out his role on the show. I don't want to see them all of a sudden like hold the show back so that they can keep him on there.
Right.
Because we know historically he has to go. It's unfortunate, but we know that he has to go. And so I don't want to see him hold the show back just for him. And I think it would be better to give this character his rightful exit And I think the actor is so fantastic. I hope he's already found other work elsewhere, and I hope we'll see him pop up maybe in Black Adam or something. I don't know.
Now this actor has been in Sister Sister. He's been in a lot of stuff. Nigel, I forgot his last name, but he's been in some stuff. He just hasn't been in something that's like been a mainstream one hitter quitter. Now
he was in Players Clubs too back in the day.
Right. But Larry, to your point, yes, if they're going by the timeline, he should be getting ready to kick the bucket. But here's the problem with that, Larry. Guess who dies not too long after Malcolm dies? Bumpy.
Exactly.
And so what are we going to do?
Which is perfect.
We're not going to have a show? Now, you know, they were talking about transitioning to his driver. I don't know if they're still going to do that, but
I thought it would be a good idea.
Well, they say Bumpy died in '68, so he died a few years after.
Right, he died about
and this year, and the year that we are in is in 1964.
So right. So my thought is this: is like, hey, you know, Malcolm gets taken out at the end of this season. They can have one more season. They can have one more season with Bumpy in there, and they can start to transition. You can have, they can introduce Frank Lucas in there as his driver, and then they can have Bumpy get taken out, and then at the end of that season, so as they move into season 4, we have new characters rolling in.
Right, I can see that.
Well, if they do that, they could go all the way to what's his name? They could go all the way to the one that really told everything. I mentioned him before when we had this conversation. If they do all of that, they could go all the way to I can't think of his name right now, but
Rick Ross, Larry Hoover.
No. That's that's later on. That's in the crack.
If it comes to you, just remind us. So
Rick Ross, that's Freeway Rick Ross. He's out in LA. He's from our Snowfall show.
That's Snowfall era.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Nicky Barnes.
Nicky Barnes. Okay.
Yeah, because if they go that far, they could go up to Nicky Barnes and then show where everything falls.
If I'm not mistaken, 50 Cent is doing Black Mafia in Detroit, and it's supposed to have a little bit of Nicky Barnes in it. I don't know how he's supposed to pull that off, but he said he's going to be doing a little Nicky Barnes in his show as well. All right, Larry, is your turn to pick, or is it Moochie? No, Larry, you picked the last person, so Moochie's on you now.
Well, you didn't pick one.
Oh, I don't pick. I'm just.
Okay.
I just interject here and there.
Oh, okay. All right. So then I would like to go with Stella.
Well, if we go with Stella, that means we've only got one person left that we can discuss after Stella, and Larry, of course, is going to get her. And it's fitting that he's going to get the last one we're going to discuss. But you're going with Stella.
Yes.
All right. Lead in on Stella.
She gave a hint, kinda, that she was behind it when she said something about him being in the loony bin. Like he shouldn't mind. I was there all of that time because he put her in there, and it seemed like she was letting you know that she was paying him back. I don't think she wanted to get him in trouble. I think she wanted to make him, he'll have no fury of a woman scorned. So she's scorned because of what her father did.
A mooch, especially when they get that dark chocolate.
Got rid of the chocolate. Now she done got rid of her chocolate.
Finish off anything else you want to say before I pass the torch to Larry.
When you saw that at the end, the element of surprise with that was, I was like, oh shoot, she did tell her father. But I knew she wasn't gonna let it go all the way. Once and I think she was kind of. I know she knows that Ernie went to go take care of what he went to take care of, because I think they're really talking on a regular basis now. And I hope we touch on. I don't know if anybody saw the coming attractions, but I want to discuss that briefly too.
Well, let's do that next week. I'm going to do a trailer review, and then
Okay.
we can have another whole episode about the review that they did for the coming attraction
All
when they
right. So
come
then
back
my
in
lips
on.
is sealed.
Yeah, Big Larry, talk about Stella, who we have all said is the most dangerous person on the show, and there's only one person she can be getting all this insider information from, and that's the person that she pimping for the panty draws, which is Ernie. And she getting all this info from Ernie. She goes and tells Morgenthau who the plug is. And knowing that that's going to take down her father, I guess in her mind, what is the most important thing to her father? His business and his money. Talk about this devious woman, Larry. All I know is I ain't going to never try to take no chocolate from a white woman.
Yeah, I mean, we've known that she's dangerous and reckless, and there. I mean, we've seen this, we've known this. I mean, we saw it when she was dating the black dude. The way she was with him was reckless.
And Larry, she looks crazy. Look how she's standing next to that phone. Is that not the look of somebody that should have been right in there with her daddy, beating up against the wall?
Yeah, she's a piece of work, no doubt.
No doubt.
It's it's there's gonna be a reckoning for all of her behaviors. It's just I just don't know how it's gonna play out. It's because they always talk about with the mob that they always have these strict codes of not going after people's wives and kids and family, but when the family then starts snitching, then what?
Right.
Then what? So, but they're not bound. The family's not bound to the same code that the mobsters are. They're not made. They're daughters and mothers, and they're not bound to that code. So, and it's not even like it was his wife snitching who's bound to him. I mean, it's his daughter. His daughter's not bound to anybody. So,
and it's not like she's underage anymore. She's a grown adult.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to. I said this before. I wouldn't be surprised if her and Ernie left. Okay. Because I wouldn't be surprised if it came out that, and I wouldn't even be surprised if it came out that it was Stella that snitched, and because Chin doesn't want to have to kill her and doesn't want anybody else to kill her, that he tells Ernie to get her out of town and go with her. So,
I can see that.
And that's one of our predictions before, like they're gonna leave town.
I can see that. He could offer them some money. He knows that Ernie loves his daughter. He's gonna protect her. And Ernie, at the end of the day, you've got to think about when Chin finds out the role Ernie played. Well, he already knows. He's gonna want to reward this boy for what he did and helping connect these dots and help with the black people and also helping Bumpy out. And then in turn, Bumpy was just as much motivated to take care of the snitch, and it all came full circle. It's just, for me, she's such a wild card, y'all. I mean, this chick, she's out of control. No one is controlling her. Now,
I think that's about to get under control.
It might, but why did she get so mad with Morgenthau when he called her back? He's like, I lost my connect. What more information can you give me? And she's mad as hell with him. Moochie, why she's so mad with him when he's only trying to do what she originally set up, take down the father?
I think she was mad with him because she knew that he was losing leverage when she couldn't be a silent witness. So she lost all her leverage, so she knows. And I think she kind of was feeling, at the end of the day, that's still her father. So I still think she was kind of feeling bad about him being there all that time. She probably didn't think she probably thought he was going to weasel his way out of it.
Okay. Larry, what'd you think? But Moochie, I disagree with that. I think that she was, let me pull this down. I think she was full out trying to get her dad thrown the hell in jail because she's still bitter about Teddy. But Larry, what do you think? What's going through Stella's mind when she's, one minute she wants to give up all this information, now all of a sudden she's telling Morgenthau to kick rocks, don't ever call her phone again?
I think that the way she was giving him information before, the way she gave him information on the French Connection, she was able to do that in such a way that sort of shielded her from from suspicion, because I don't think anybody really knew that she knew about the French connection. So for her to give up that information, no one's gonna think it was Stella. But now she starts having to give up information that's really sort of intimate to what Chin's doing close to him.
He's gonna know.
The circle of people that could actually know this information gets a lot smaller, and she's in that circle. So I think like Moochie said, she's pissed because she gave him the info and he squandered it, and now he's coming back to the watering hole trying to get some more, trying to get another drink, and she's like, "No, I gave you everything you had. You ruined it. You squandered it. I gave you the opportunity, and you squandered it." So I'm not gonna say that she's not gonna give up any more info. I just think this whole situation is gonna turn for her. I think that by the end of this season that Stella and Ernie are gonna be on the run.
Okay, and hey,
but I'll be honest with you, I think that if Stella and Ernie actually go on the run, or even, and I doubt that he'll snitch, but in the event that he does, let's say that somehow they go into witness protection. I think Ernie's actually good for her. If she would have opened herself up and allowed herself to be loved by him, this dude loves her unconditionally. And
I think you're right.
And don't get me wrong, the dude right now, because of who he's around and the neighborhood he's there and the family he has, the dude's a piece of shit. No doubt. He's garbage. He's a murderous piece of garbage criminal. But if you give him the opportunity to get away from that, I think Ernie actually has the foundations and the framework of a good man. He just needs someone that's going to allow him to be that.
Well, he just showed you that with him taking out them fucking KKK members. He just showed you that.
Yeah,
he just showed you.
I think if he has the opportunity to be a good man, he will be one. And if the reward for being that is he gets Stella, it's just that much better for him and easier for him to make that decision.
I feel you. Last character, Moochie, you get the lead in on this character since Larry got Stella. Last person we got going for you. Adam Clayton Powell. Start anywhere you want, and me and Larry will clean it up for you. Oh, boy. Now, I got to tell y'all, I don't know which character I enjoyed the most, because I loved his ass this whole episode. I loved Malcolm. I like Bumpy. I liked Ernie. I liked Chin. I mean, this was an exceptional mid-season credit. But Moochie, start in with Clayton Powell wherever you want, and we'll finish it off.
I like the fact that he stood his ground and was like, I was sworn to uphold the law. But, if he knew he was going to have to do something dirty, he knew who to call.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked his movement with all of that.
Okay. Oh, wow. Short and sweet.
No, wait.
Oh, you reading notes? You're not reading your cliff notes. Girl, you're supposed to memorize them notes before you get on TV. She in there going through the book like them old women be in the church. Just
I see.
The pastor said, the pastor said Psalms 3:15. She in there said, "Oh my God, he going to Clayton Powell. What page are we on Clayton Powell?"
Yeah, he on the other page. You threw me off today with the format.
Oh yeah, look, I
here for it. I like it though.
Yeah, I got to keep it saucy, man. I got to keep it saucy.
I did have a question though. Did you guys like the poem that Bumpy? What were your thoughts on that Bumpy's poem?
Larry,
I don't have any thoughts on it.
Yeah, okay. I don't really have no thoughts on it either. What did you think about the poem?
I liked it because remember he was. I don't know if y'all saw Hoodlum. He was a poet in that.
Mm-hmm.
So they and it just came on last night, and he was saying little poems and stuff like that. Because remember, Lawrence Fishburne played him twice.
Right. His poem didn't move me one way or the other one because there was so many other things going on.
Yeah, it was a lot going on, but I guess I was trying to pay attention to every detail as far as with this was going on. I like the fact that Clayton Powell was trying to persuade Morgenthau to let Bumpy and Chin off. And he was like, well, what are you supporting these criminals? They're putting drugs in the neighborhoods.
Well, Moochie, keep that thing 100. He really wasn't supporting Chin. He really was trying. He really was just trying to support.
Yeah, I know, but you save one, you got to save them both. So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He really didn't even care about Bumpy. He really cares mostly. I mean, he deals with Bumpy, but he really was doing that as a personal favor to Mamie.
Exactly. I think in part, definitely. But, Bumpy does give him a lot of campaign contributions that he doesn't want to lose.
Exactly. He's losing the money pot.
He can't. He does things he can't do.
He's the muscle for him.
He gotta have his dirty hands somewhere.
Right.
He's his dirty hand for business.
That's his
just like that whole time when he was about to, when he didn't do it, he didn't go through with it. But when he was going to blackmail that senator, that was a direct result of of access to Bumpy's clubs.
Exactly.
Yeah. You talking about an old Senator Chocolate Tooth? That's what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, Larry, give us your thoughts on Clayton Powell this episode, and I'll finish it off for us.
I mean, I like him. I like him on this episode. I've liked him on every episode this season. This season, he's one of my favorite characters. I mean, he has been fantastic. They seem like they've given him either, I don't know if it's that they've given him more screen time or they have just made his screen time more significant. But I mean, I really like him. I love, just some of the stuff that he does. We get to see, not that we haven't seen him before, but we get to see some of the, some of the ways that people are having to skirt the rules. Like, oh, I can't give you this file when he's talking to Mamie. I can't give you this file on these guys, but I'm going to go ahead and set it on the table and say, where did I put that? And then she picks it up and, I mean, it's those things where you see, where you get to see him having some of those moral conundrums dealing with the law. Even in that other episode we were talking about where he was had those photos taken of that senator. It was one of those moments where he wanted to do this. He knew it would be best it would have a great result for the movement, but at the same time, he had to deal with his own morality, being a pastor and a man of God, and being a sworn servant and serving his people in his congressional district. And on top of that, he doesn't want the movement stained by those dirty deeds. He wants the thing to go through, and he wants it to be done clean, so that when people look back on it, there's never any sort of, oh, well, it only got done because they blackmailed so and so, or this is dirty or that's dirty. They want it clean, and we get to see him struggling with that a little bit.
Exactly. For me, I too enjoyed everything that he done. I like the way they opened this episode with him preaching in the church about the 3 Freedom Riders. And he also preached that had it been 3 black boys that got abducted and went missing, the FBI wouldn't have said shit. Right. But because it was 2 white dudes and a black boy, that's why we had a damn mass investigation and hunt for these boys, because white America had gotten hysteria. And it's sad that we still are saying some of those same things. Here we are like 60 some years later. So that was eye-opening. And the sermon he was giving in there, the acting this brother did during that sermon, I mean, man, he needs to win some kind of a TV series award because he is killing it. Okay, so then we get on to, like Larry said, Bumpy asked Mamie, get a favor from him. I need to know who the hell are these police officers? He needs that FBI file. He was like, I seem to have lost my file. And he put it right on the table in front of Mamie. He ducked down like he was about to take a poop or something. And then Mamie pops up with the file, disappears, bam. Passes it to Bumpy. Y'all seen what happened with Bumpy. But then the exchange he had with Morgenthau was even more telling, because in my opinion, he was really trying to save Bumpy because of everything we said. Bumpy is his street justice. Bumpy is his street muscle. Bumpy, for all the bad he's doing, he's also doing good on a social activism level where Chin ain't doing none of that shit. And so that's what he's trying to break down to Morgenthau, who goes and talks about him being a Jew, blah, blah, blah. And Clayton Powell is able to lull him to sleep, giving the man a Cuban cigar, letting him smoke it in there. He gets and sits in his face, gives him this good eye contact. That character has just been outstanding, not just this episode, but the whole entire time. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hate to see this series come to an end. But if it's going by history, we probably only got one more season with Bumpy. And as everyone has said on this panel, this is it for Malcolm. So kiss him goodbye. But I want to hear all you guys' comments. I want to hear what you guys got to say. Please be sure to share this video. And I got one more thing to say. This picture I'm putting up now, this is not my channel. Look how somebody stole my logo and then going to put an accent above the O and tell you to call WhatsApp. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not have a WhatsApp account. And if you get some friends or you know some people that watch my channel, tell them that this is some bum in Russia probably who sees us on the come up and is trying to house my likeness to somehow or another put y'all in a scam.
You
so
can't
don't
report them?
Look at that.
And you know what? And that came up on my timeline, and I was like, something didn't look right about it.
You see, look above that O. There's an accent above the O.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, that's not.
You can go on to YouTube and have them remove it, and because there's a way you can have it removed and report the channel as an impersonation channel.
Okay, well I'm gonna have to dig that because I've reported.
Yeah.
I just noticed it yesterday. I reported the person that spam, and I sent YouTube a message, and I was just gonna wait for them to get back. But I just want you guys to be aware that when people see you on the come up, man, they're either gonna do one or two things. They're gonna hate you or they're gonna imitate you. And damn, we sure enough got a whole lot of Lamont Tysons running around here. But you know what?
But that's probably one that's doing the dislikes to the video too. Oh, like as soon as you put it up now, I'm seeing it come up.
Of course, but that's part of the game, and we're good to go. Any closing words, Moochella, before we get out of here, you want to say to the people on this Memorial Day weekend?
Have a good weekend, everybody. Please be safe. Remember the thing with road rage, just keep it moving because people are really not in their right frame of mind coming out of this lockdown. Like it's a lot of anxiety with people. Just be safe, y'all.
A lot of hate with people because the hate mongerer in chief got folks thinking that they tougher than what they really is. I'm gonna just keep it 100. Big Larry, what you got to say to the people and what's your plans on this Memorial Day weekend? By the way, subscribe to their channels too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say anything right now.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll keep it gully, ladies and gentlemen. We're out of here. I won't be here. Normally I join B. Avery on Sunday. I won't be doing that this week because we're going to be doing some things on the road. I will be popping in to go live with Crystal for the Shy, but that's probably going to be about 2-3 o'clock-ish. Then we're going to hit the road after that. So if you are around that time and you've watched it on the app, please come check us out. We're going to go live when the baby takes the nap. That's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, get a life game, subscribe to Moochie, subscribe to Larry. Till that next Sexy as Hell video. Safe Memorial Weekend, and we'll see you.
Later.
Peace, y'all.
We out of here. All right.